literally the live thing. I have no idea. So
I think we're live.
I'm going to go with we're live. So
welcome.
Thank you for being with us on Pave the Way. This is episode 6. We're going to talk about asphalt pricing. This one's actually going to be a quick one. It's something that we want to talk about and bring up with everybody because it's an issue we've been dealing with out in the field. So asphalt pricing and its effect on projects that you might have going on. I'm JB, as always, with Patrick, and we brought Seth back, who is our resident
asphalt expert.
Our resident asphalt expert.
Asphalt
expert.
We'll go with that.
Thank you.
Yes.
What's up, Seth?
How's it going, everybody?
Glad to have you back.
Glad you could join us from Montreal, Quebec.
To explain all these rising prices and all our oil-based products.
So I'm just going to start asking questions on this because I think there's a lot of questions that people don't know when it comes to asphalt and things like that and the pricing. So what is
what
in
the
I know. Okay, sorry. In the scope of a project, what is asphalt, which is the material? What is that going to take up in a project? That's really where I wanted to start.
Take up.
What percentage of a project is the material going to be?
It depends on how big your parking lot is. If your parking lot's 400,000 square feet, it's going to take up quite a bit of product. If your parking lot's 2,500 square feet, it may not take as much product, but it's still going to take product.
That's a pretty small parking lot.
Yeah, maybe.
But it happens.
We'll work on repairs too.
A lot of the time, the bigger paves, I would say probably 80% of the total bill is just going to buy the asphalt. That's how expensive it is. I mean, just since we started paving, I've seen the price of asphalt go from the high 40s to now we're seeing, $70, $65, $70 around the Sacramento area. We go down to the Bay Area, we're looking at over $100 a ton plus surcharges and fees. So the price has been going through the roof for the last year. And I would bet that a lot of people know why that's happening. They see it at the pumps themselves. And
so wait a minute, what does the pumps have to do with the asphalt?
It's an oil-based product. Asphalt is an oil-based product, just like at the gas pumps. All your fuel, your petroleum products, diesel, everything is on the rise. I'm just looking at a couple charts here, just dealing with crude oil that date back to 2015, where the average closing cost of a crude oil was around $48 to where now in 2022 it's about $81.
And they're talking about it going to 125 before the end of this year.
So with asphalt being an oil-based product, as crude oil prices go up, so does the cost of asphalt.
It's almost like the United States should have their own pipelines in place. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
So that's why the price. I mean, as the price of oil fluctuates, you're saying the price of the asphalt is going to fluctuate too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How so we've $44 is where we were. Now we're up in the 80s. That's almost double in price. So how does that work? Because I know we have a lot of projects that we do that we could bid, and they may not start for months to a year yet, and in some extent. So how does that work when you're contracting and sending out quotes?
Absolutely. When I said
regularly, back when we were at 44, what would that regularly do? Sorry.
Regularly, when it was back then, it wasn't as big of a deal because the price wasn't changing as drastically as it is in today's market. Today's day and age, we like to put a 30-day window on our proposals, but I mean, there's sometimes now the prices are changing within 2 weeks. So
we have the ability to lock some of our prices in if we can get ahead of it and know that a customer wants to do the work and it's not out an entire year. When you're looking at projects that are out that far, the best we can do for you now is give you budget numbers. We can give you an idea of what it's going to cost now and what we can add a little fluff in there for you so you can, try to budget for it. But in this day and age, when the cost of a barrel of crude oil, it can go from 80 to 125 by the end of this year, maybe, that's going to increase the cost of your project significantly. So, I mean, what we're looking at trying to do now is help people lock in their prices where they are now. So I don't know if you guys want to.
I actually asked Seth. We had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I had asked Seth, what are some things we can do to lock these pricing in for our customers? And Seth actually had some really good ideas.
The way when I get a request for a proposal, I'm usually going to call the asphalt plant and get a quote for that job. The asphalt plant is going to base their price on what we call the rack rate of oil. The rack rate basically takes crude oil, and it is basically every cost that it takes to load the oil into a truck, the delivery to the plant, the offload, all those extra costs that it takes to get that oil to the asphalt plant to make the asphalt makes up the rack rate cost. Every quote that I get, they will quote me on a rack rate. What I would like to do is, if anybody is interested in moving forward with work, is to lock in on a letter of intent or something along those lines, basically saying I'm doing the work. I want to get this over to the plant so we can lock in the oil rate at what it was quoted for, because their quotes are only going to last us probably 2 to 3 weeks right now as well. So the faster we can get over a letter of intent to move forward with the work, then hopefully we can lock in that oil rate at that rate, and we won't have to see our price go up or your price go up.
Yeah, a letter of intent or signing the contract. A letter of intent is something that it's not binding you to have the job done with us, but it gives us the ability to go and lock the rack rate in, the price per ton of asphalt, lock that in with the supplier. Because they will literally go ahead and purchase the amount of oil that we need at that rate. If it's something that we end up not doing, then great, they just bought more oil at a cheaper price. So it doesn't hurt anything, but it gives us the ability to lock in a price for you.
And when Seth brought that idea to us, it was the greatest idea, because we're really about building these relationships. We want to build relationships with customers, and we want to work with customers who want to use us to do their projects. And it's really a way for us to help you. It's a way to lock in pricing, know we're there, because we don't know what is going to happen with these oil rates.
I believe we're the only company that does this too. I haven't heard of any other asphalt companies that will try to do this for
the letter of intent.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, really, I don't know that anybody else is even focused on this. I mean, asphalt companies, or a lot of us, even us before this time, you just bid the job, you get the price, and we get the job. Even 6 months later, we just go do the work, and there's no issues. Now, because of this ongoing changing in pricing, we've just identified this as a problem. Like, we bid jobs maybe early last year, and we find that we can't even hold these prices anymore, because we're giving you the material, we're making our money on the labor. So it's just money coming off the top when it goes up. It's not like we had markup in those materials to cover that. So we're trying to make it so that we can in for you to keep customers' prices down as low as possible. So
if you've got a decent sized parking lot, let's call it 600 tons to do an overlay on a mid to large parking lot, $10 a ton is $6,000 without tax, without any of their extra fees that get added onto that. Those are constantly changing as well, the environmental fees.
We have a question.
So crude oil is refined into multiple different types of oil that are used in the production of asphalt. There's asphalt, there's asphalt oil, there's tack oil, there's slow setting, fast setting tack oil. There is quite a few different levels and grades of oil that do different things and perform different for residential roads versus arterial roads, heavily traveled roads versus not very traveled roads. And the county and Caltrans have specs on that, and we kind of follow those specifications.
Cool. So I think one other thing we've actually focused on too is that we're going to start following up. We've added an email into our process to send out a reminder to let you know I think these rack rates could go up. Also, rack rates have a set date that they change, so we're checking them multiple days before they change to see if we need to try to lock these pricings in. Because if it goes over into that new billing period and then our estimate expires, they're going to all of a sudden charge us that same price, even if we miss it by like a couple of days. So we really want to stay on top of these. And we understand contracts take sometimes months and take a long time to get signed. We want to make sure we're getting you locked in, and that letter of intent is kind of that friendly agreement between us that you're going to use us and we can get this stuff locked in for you.
It helps us help you.
Absolutely. So I think that was pretty quick. I think that was the basis. Was there anything else on that, Seth, you thought we had to hit on?
No, that's the main thing is just the asphalt being an oil-based product. It's key to get something locked in as fast as you possibly can in today's market.
Thanks, Nessie. Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for the question. Another thing I wanted to bring up too, just before we take off, is that we're working on a new program where if you see failed asphalt and problems with asphalt, is we take pictures of them and you send them in either through social media or through our little on our website. We have a little drop down menu they can fill in, so we can kind of talk about that and we can show you what to do with things, what to know, what you need to know about those repairs, and if we can kind of help you get them fixed. And that's something that we'll be rolling out, but that's just to kind of a look ahead.
We're looking to build an army of people to get us in front of people who need our products and services and want to go with the company that's going to make sure it's done right the first time, the best way it can be. So cool. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. And definitely check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know where else.
No,
there you go. And you can drop questions in here. You can send us emails or drop questions on the website, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
And as always, thank you.
And LinkedIn.
Oh, and LinkedIn.